Well, good afternoon, everyone. State Representative Brad Halbrook here. And the song is Money, Money, Money. And that's what we're talking about tonight. We're going to talk about what's going on with the Illinois gas tax and the road fund. And I've got three graphics here that will lay out the discussion points that I want to talk about. They are simply the road fund revenue is outpacing the expenditures. The road fund reserves are ballooning. Illinois gas tax just hit 48.3 cents this past July 1st. And so with that, let's get started. I want to bring up my first slide here. And this slide basically is titled Revenue Exceeds Spending. So since 2019, drivers have paid more at the pump every year at July 1st. You can see how the green bar is the revenue that's coming in. The brown bar is the disbursements or expenses. And you can see that within the first year after the gas tax was doubled, how revenue began to outpace the expenses. And so again, 2019 is when the governor's doubling of the tax hike of the gas tax went from 19 to 38 cents. And then every year after July 1st, it goes up at the rate of inflation. So that's why you can continue to see that increase. In 2024, the bottom line there, and I apologize, the video picture is covering up but it's $5.03 billion. That's what was collected in fiscal year 2024 was $5.03 billion for roads. But the brown bar, just not quite $4 billion was what was spent on that. And again, so that's giving you $1 billion in unused funds just for 1 year. The next chart I want to show you is how the road fund reserves are increasing, far outpacing the spending. So the road fund balance in 2018 was $624 million. Today, on the far right of the graph, is $3.3 billion. That's a 428% increase. It's projected to grow another couple $100 million by next fiscal year, or the end of next fiscal year, to $3.5 billion. Illinois' constitution was amended just a few years ago that requires all these funds to be used exclusively for transportation. But again, Springfield keeps collecting way more money than they're spending. Some experts have indicated that reserves over 50% of the prior year spending is overtaxation. And again, you can see by this chart that the reserves are at 84% of the annual spending. Again, that's way more than is needed to maintain the system. The third graphic I'll pull up here, this just talks about, shows you the increase in the motor fuel tax. Now, again, this is just the state portion of the motor fuel tax. There's a federal portion of this, and then there's a sales tax on top of that, which makes us the second highest in the nation, second, I believe, only to California. But the gas tax currently, as of July 1st, was 48.3 cents a gallon, second highest in the nation. That's up from 19 cents in 2018, which you can see on the far left side of the screen. And the studies show that the average Illinois driver pays $143 more per year in state gas taxes. And again, these increases every July 1st, it's all automatic. There's no debate in Springfield. There's no vote. It just happens automatically. And of course, nobody's held accountable to that. So with that, let's go back and just kind of close out. There's other states that are doing it smarter and they're doing it differently. Minnesota only requires a 15-day reserve in their highway funds. They're balanced 19% of annual spending, and they have good roads also. California has a TABOR law, TABOR, that gives excess revenue back to taxpayers unless the voters approve to keep it. In Illinois, what should we do differently? And there should be maybe a way to pause the collection of these funds once the funds exceed 50% of the prior year spending. And I think that's a good rule of thumb. And I think that's what we will probably try to pursue, is kind of how to make that work here in the coming months. So when we come back in January, we will have language that will put that into place. Again, if you've got 50% of your funds held in reserve, or a reserve of that 50% of those funds, That gives you 6 months worth of reserve. That's enough to cover any emergency, or if there's a downturn in revenue, that's going to cover that. This is probably a fiscally responsible idea that needs consideration. Again, we need to have safe roads and bridges, but we don't need to have automatic excessive tax increases either. In closing, I would like to thank Ravi Mashara at Illinois Policy Institute for pulling all of these facts and figures and graphics together to help us with this. And as always, I would appreciate that you would like and comment and share and subscribe to all my channels. I'm Brad Halbrook, keeping you on the inside track. Thanks for watching.